Alrighty. I have no idea if this works. I'm doing the new YouTube thing. I don't know if this is coming through. I'm gonna type a few messages, see if people see it. Hey. Oh, hey guys. Welcome. Hello. Hello. So, welcome to a Q&A live stream. I haven't done a live stream in a while, haven't done a Q&A in a while, so I thought I'd mix them together and do both at the same time. So, looks like we got a lot of people here. I'm a bit distracted because I have two screens now, thank goodness, so I can read the chat and all that, but I have like a bit of delay on the screen, so it's a bit weird. So I'm just going to open just the chat up here, have my camera here going. So yeah, hello, welcome. Glad you could all make it. I think we all know what we're here for. You guys have some questions that you might want me to answer about game development or my game project Feline. For those who have never seen me before, that have like just found this stream by pure chance, my name's Raymond, and I'm an indie game developer. I'm making a third-person wall-running game codenamed Project Feline, which I guess seems to be the name we're sticking with for the moment. And you play as this cool feline-human hybrid that can run on walls. So that's who I am. So I have a couple of questions that have just been stockpiling from the Discord server, and if you guys want to join the fun there, I have the link down below. But if you guys have some questions you'd like to ask me live, you can ask me those and I'll answer them. And if no one really has any questions they can think of at the top of their heads, I have a stockpile of stuff on my Discord server that I've yet to answer. So I'm going to be sort of giving and taking from both the YouTube chat and from the Discord server and seeing how many questions I can answer. I should probably quickly start a timer because I can just talk on and on for a long time. So I'm going to give us about 45 minutes to an hour just to see how much we get through. I reckon that should be plenty of time to get some crucial things sorted. So I guess we'll start off. I'll take a look at the chat and see if we've got any already. Oh god, there's a lot of messages. I didn't expect this many people to show up, to be honest. Cool, what do we got? There's just a lot of like random messages here. So if possible, if we could just try to keep the chat to just like questions, just so that it's less work for me to scroll through them all, that'd be really great. I want to see who got here first. See whoever got here first and answer their question if they have one. There's a lot. Okay, I'll just see what you guys say right now. When is your new vid coming out? When it's ready. It's hard to tell when. Like, as I try to keep to a schedule as best I can. It's hard when you're doing a game and doing YouTube at the same time. It's not like most, because I watch a lot of YouTubers that have a very, very consistent schedule. But for me, I've always struggled doing that because all the content I'm doing on YouTube is based off this game. And if that goes slowly, then the videos do too. So the next video, it's going to be about the animation process. And I'm really, really, really excited because I freaking love animation. I used to teach animation. I'm very passionate about animation. So I'm super, super excited to like get it all working, and it's going to look really cool. So that's what the video is going to be about. It'll probably be another week or two. We'll give it 2 weeks, I'd say, before it's ready. Because there's quite a lot of things going on alongside the animation. So maybe we'll get into some of that stuff today. I'll get on some more questions. So yeah, the videos just kind of come out when they're ready to come out, I guess. If you guys at Raymond Cripps, it's a lot easier for me to read because it just highlights in bright orange. Yeah, I am a little nervous, to be honest. I haven't done a live stream in months, like a long, long, long time. So yeah, it just feels like kind of weird to get back into the swing of things. A question about the Unreal Engine. Do you use the Unreal skeleton? Honestly, no, I haven't really looked into it all that much. I understand it's very powerful. but I haven't used it, and I plan to use the skeleton I've made in Blender for implementation, but that'll probably get covered when I do that video. Um, a question from TY Slayer. Do you have the game set up to be level based, but do you possibly have plans on a campaign? Um, one thing I wanted to set out to do from the very beginning was to create a game that follows some kind of central plot or narrative, because I really, really love games with stories. I played a lot of single player games growing up, a lot of adventure titles. But when I went to study game design, they all kind of discouraged you from doing that kind of thing, and fair enough, because no one can make a story game in a few weeks, but it's been an ambition of mine for a long time. I actually have been thinking a little bit about it lately while I've been doing animation. And if we get more questions about that, I'll get more in depth. But um, yeah, I've been thinking about where it might go. I've got a lot of weird abstract ideas for it that have just built up over the years. But the challenge will be mixing them into a cohesive plot that makes sense. And yeah, so I'm hopeful to just do something really simple but really effectively. So that's sort of what I'm set out to do for that. What else we got? Have I thought about adding a grapple hook? Fun story. I actually had made a prototype of a grapple hook before the wall running. The very first thing I made at Unreal was a grapple hook prototype. I have it on the shelf at the moment. I'm not sure exactly if I want to put it in this game. I think I just want to keep it on wall running, but it's on the shelf. May come in handy at some point. Am I planning to introduce any parkour-based mechanics, or is wall running my main focus? There's a few things I want to put in. I went back and played Mirror's Edge a couple weeks ago. I actually never finished the game, surprisingly. And this is like the original 2009 Mirror's Edge. And I've just been playing through it. I think I'm almost finished it now. But I was just paying attention to the design and the mechanics, and there's a few things I want to do to it that, like, just to introduce a few little things that parkour movement has, like a skill roll or something, but nothing too fancy. Just to, add some more variety, I think, but it's going to be mainly wall running. So yeah, the other thing too, because Mirror's Edge is a great game, I think. Visually, it appeals to me a lot, but I don't necessarily want to make a Mirror's Edge clone. I kind of want it to be its own thing. So I want to try and just interpret as much as I can from what I like, because the whole idea of the game, I don't know how many people here have been watching since like the very first episode back in August of last year, but in that stream, in that video, I think I talked a lot about just making a game that I would enjoy playing, and that's kind of just been the whole idea behind it. Nothing fancy, no weird game design theory, no trying to design a hit game like Fortnite. Just making something I think I'd enjoy, and, thinking, oh, well, maybe there's one person, at least one person that would probably like it as well. And sure enough, it was a bit more than one, and I was quite surprised by that. So yeah, I want to just keep doing it that way, I guess. I'll try to get on to some next questions here. I saw a question about, will it be on gaming PC? I'm going to assume you mean just the PC platform, and yes, I'm developing it on PC. It's definitely going to stay on PC. As for, I think I've been getting some questions about, is it going to be on Steam or Epic or what's going on? I don't know yet. It's a bit too soon to say, but those are things I'm exploring. It's kind of weird, because at the moment, development's slowed a little bit behind the scenes, because I'm actually trying to spend time researching those sorts of things and trying to figure out, like, where to release it, how to market it, because I've never done this before. I have no idea how to market a game. I'm just sort of trying and seeing what works, trying to do my best. We have a super chat here from WikiWee. Where did you learn to model clothing and armors for characters? I want to up my game. I've also been following since day one. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Well, where did I learn it? I just sat down one day and I was like, I knew that I wanted to, because this model for Gabriella that I've been making has been the most complex one I've ever done. Previous experience of modeling is usually just for mobile game characters. I wanted to do something that really pushed the limit of what I could do. So I just kind of went the way I thought it worked. And I said, well, it's probably a separate mesh and it probably goes on top. So like on top of the base mesh at least. So I kind of just tried that and just found a few YouTube tutorials around the place of how other people did it. And then I just kind of did what they did, and it worked out pretty well. Afterwards, because I was getting asked this a lot in my last video, because I have a lot of polygons underneath the clothes. I actually have removed them now, or I've masked them, because just to save on performance. So I haven't really deleted them, but when I export it out, they'll be gone, just to kind of save performance. So I try to build it very modularly like that, sort of thing. But yeah, I just kind of learnt from tutorials and that sort of thing. All right, what do we got next? Moving on. How does Gabriella wear headphones? Oh, that's a great... I honestly don't know. I don't think she can wear headphones. I have a pair right here that we could test with. So yeah, this wouldn't work at all for her, of course. But maybe I don't know, maybe some company out there, like Apple, might sell just one AirPod, and maybe that's what she would wear, I guess, or like some kind of earpiece. I don't think she'd be able to wear headphones, but because it's a cat ear after all, I'd imagine the hearing would be really great, so it'd sound like a studio experience, but just coming from a little AirPod. So, I mean, they sound pretty good anyway, so I reckon that'll be how. Oh, this is a great one. How do you make the game from start to finish with no money? I'm very confusion. That is a very great question indeed. It's not something I go into much. There's a lot of personal stuff involved there. I did used to work as a programming and 3D animation teacher about earlier this year, and I just saved all my money from that, and I've just been living off of that for the past 6 months. I had to leave the job due to some circumstances that I can't get into yet, but after leaving, I kind of didn't really want to go back into something else. That was actually one of my first jobs as well, and it was kind of disheartening how it ended, but I had this project going while I was working there, and I kind of just wanted to keep working on it and seeing where it would go, and seeing how long I could last. Unfortunately, it's I don't know how much longer I'm able to do it, so I'm looking into some ways that I can fund the game somehow, and I'll probably be announcing more about that in a later video. But I've been doing some research. I've been, getting some thoughts and ideas together, but it's a bit too soon to say what'll happen with that yet. But I've been very lucky, I'll say, to be able to work on it this long. So yeah, I guess it's just being really cautious. That's also why I haven't contracted or hired people, because I just can't afford to. So that's sort of how I go about things generally. We have another super chat here from TY Slayer. Right now your game has no background, but what is your plan so it's not an endless abyss? That is a good question. Honestly, don't know, because level design isn't something that comes to me very naturally. I really have no clue how to design a world, so that's going to be an interesting thing to learn. I have a few concepts. I think in my second episode in my Devlog series, I talked a little about the inspiration for the world. And I think I was wanting to do something sci-fi with a city, but I want to try some other things too, just to kind of see what could happen with it, I guess. Let's see what other questions we got. I might have missed a few, so forgive me. I honestly didn't expect this many people to show up, so I thought we'd have a dead chat and I'd just be reading through Discord questions, so I appreciate you all coming by. This is a good question from one Mr. Ham. How do you organize your tasks? Oh, this is my favorite. Funny enough, yeah, with most people I meet because I had a lot of students that I taught that did game development, and I as a student myself, I knew a lot of people wanting to get into this field, and the one thing, even if they were really talented, and even if they weren't, it's the one thing that they always got wrong was that they didn't organize at all. So even if you're not that talented or you don't have any background experience, I think students or just anyone can make a lot of headway just by organizing their time and just scoping a project around what they can do. If you can only draw stick figures, there are people on YouTube that just make games with stick figures and they do really well. So, but to get to that point where people know about it and it's progressing at a satisfying rate, you got to organize the time. So I use a website called Trello, which I'm sure a lot of you may have heard of. It's a really, really great tool. I highly recommend it. It's basically a web version of what's called a Kanban system. And this is probably the only useful thing I've learnt from studying game development, was what a Kanban system was. And it's basically like, if you work at McDonald's, they have a similar kind of thing. They have like a board of tasks, and you sort of do it in columns based on like, to do, finished, done. And you kind of just take tasks as cards, try and estimate how much they cost, break them down into subtasks, and then carry them over the board. So I think a huge part of my workflow is just breaking tasks down into steps and trying to organize it and complete it on time. Of course, my estimates are always wrong, like everyone else's. It always takes me twice the amount of time I think it will. So, but it's getting me somewhere. It's helped quite a bit. If I wasn't organizing, and if I didn't have, it's very important to have it visually there, I think. Because if you just have it in your head, it takes up too much RAM, I suppose you could say. And it just kind of sits there. You don't really take it seriously. But if you have it written down, you take it off your random memory, put it into a storage, and you can, I don't know, it helps you focus, and it also, having it there kind of makes it seem more important. I don't know. That's what I found, at least. All right. There's a lot of, I'm looking at the chat here. There's a lot of @Raymond Crippses, so forgive me if I don't get around to everyone. Here's a question that I've been getting asked a lot lately. Am I going to be accepting help? And I've had a lot of requests from voice actors and animators and character artists and musicians, and it's been a bit overwhelming with the amount of people that just kind of want to help out. I think I addressed this in an older video, but I thought I'd address it again. There's a lot of reasons why I kind of want to keep it as a private thing at the moment. I really enjoy sharing the game with you guys and having a community around it, but following the project and working on the project it's a very different experience. For example, working on the project requires a lot of effort, requires a lot of time, requires a lot of commitment, and it has some stakes too, because the difference between me working on this last year and me working on it now is that I'm kind of, I don't know, trying to treat it as a commercial project now. And that entails a few things. So it means I can't just have some random guy come work on it, because firstly, if there's no contract written, for example, he can just do whatever he wants. And let's say, I don't know, maybe I get like a programmer to help out, just some guy in the comments section, for example. And they contribute some code, but in order to do that, they need access to the source code, which, is something I'm not quite willing to give away for free, of course. And, because if there's no contract or anything written, there's no real legal standing on what he can and can't do with it. So he could disclose that code, he could share it, he could pirate it. And I know most of you are probably just genuinely wanting to help out, and I really do appreciate that. But it's hard to kind of differentiate who's gonna, not take advantage of that trust, because working on it means you get, really invested and involved in it. So it's a tricky business that I haven't quite figured out how to manage, which is why I've kind of just been, saying thanks but no thanks to everyone, because it's tricky. If it's a commercial project, you can't just have some random dude that you've never met come and work on it, because I don't know the person, I don't know his motives, and there's a bunch of other questions too. So until a time comes where, let's say, I can contract people properly, give them like a salary or something, then I'm probably going to keep it as a solo thing. And I know that to some of you it might sound a bit harsh or disheartening, but I think it's for the best of the project. And I know it's very difficult. A lot of people kind of see how much I'm struggling at times, because working on it solo is really difficult. It's very stressful emotionally and physically, and but I want to keep it that way, because I can just barely manage myself. And it's like, I'm not sure if I'm in a position where I can tell other people how to manage themselves too. So if I can just barely keep it together myself, I think it's just going to get more complicated with like the more people. So if I do have people working on it, I want it to be people I know and I trust, and that I can somehow officially arrange for them to do it, so that if they want to back out of it, they can, like with all the right legalities and everything. So yeah, it's a bit of a complicated issue. Maybe I should address it in its own video someday. because doing a community project is very different, of course. Like people do like Blender is a volunteer open source thing. People volunteer and work on it all the time. But for a project of my nature, it's a bit different. But I do appreciate, like, I honestly never expected anyone wanting to help ever. So I really do appreciate all that. I'll just quickly read through some super chats because I've noticed I've just missed a few. Or at least I think I have. I'm really losing track of this chat window. Or maybe I didn't miss it. Okay, maybe I just scrolled up too far. All right. So I'll just... There's a lot of messages. Let me just take a moment to read. Oh boy, where did I read last? Is Gabriella able to wear hats? Oh no, I don't think or maybe if it has a hole in it, or actually maybe she can, but it wouldn't be very comfortable. It would kind of fold the top half of her head a bit. A question from Ethan: can you disclose where you taught? I mean, I suppose I could, but I'm not sure if it'd be a good idea right now. There's still a bit of drama going on, but it was I worked for the New South Wales Department of Education, which have their own sort of... It's not like university and it's not like high school. It's kind of like a trade school, I guess. I don't know what... In Australia, they have a lot of those things. I'm not sure what it's called in America. But you go there to get like diplomas, advanced diplomas, that sort of thing. But it's not like a university. But yeah, that's about all I can say at the moment. It was really fun, though, I'll say. I kind of do miss teaching. There were a few students I met there that were really, really great and are doing really great stuff at the moment. So I kind of do miss it. But yeah, things didn't go quite that well. Any plans for voice acting? Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I've had about a couple voice actors reach out to me. One of them a while ago, one of them recently. And they both sound really great and very talented. They've auditioned for the role of Gabriella, of course. And they sound very great. It'll just depend on if I'm able to fund it or not. I think I should be able to. But yeah, there's a lot of... Well, yeah, it'll take a lot of time and planning. But I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic that we'll be able to give Gabriella a voice and perhaps any other characters that may appear. What kind of bad guys am I planning to have? And what's the story so far? Well, that's really cool, yeah, because I've honestly, for the past few days, been thinking really hard about this, because I know a lot of people now are really wanting to know more, and it's been something I've sort of restrained myself with on purpose, because I kind of wanted to focus on the prototype and making sure the game was fun before focusing on all this fun story stuff. But yeah, I have been thinking about it. I don't really want to do a villain, I don't think, because I really hate designing villains, because the only, like... It doesn't come to me very naturally. Designing heroes and protagonists I really love, but designing a villain isn't something that comes as naturally to me. So the only things that come to mind are like really stock standard mustache twirling villains like Dr. Eggman or something. And that's not the kind of character I don't think fits in this kind of project. What I have thought about, though, is perhaps creating some kind of rivalry or a rival character to compete with Gabriella in some way, but there's still a lot I need to figure out. I'll see what other questions we've got. There's a lot. So, again, sorry if I don't get to everyone. Are the bad guys going to be hybrid dogs? I honestly don't know. It's weird. The universe I have pictured for it, because this is a universe I've been building since I was about 10 years old. And it was actually based off these two teddy bears I own, which I still own. They're actually sitting right there on my couch. So I kind of just took those two teddy bears and turned them into characters. And then I kind of just, I don't know, because I was also a big Sonic fanboy at the time. It kind of just led to creating a universe full of like anthropomorphized animals with cool abilities. So I actually don't know what kind of other animals might appear. I think I have some ideas for some human characters too, because I had a few ideas where like being human was really rare, and they'd be like, you know, I don't know, some weird, like, there's a lot of ideas I gotta, like, consolidate. Will the game be multiplayer? Great question. Multiplayer is, man, because, yeah, I've been getting asked this a lot. So multiplayer is really tricky, especially for online. The systems I have in place now mostly work with online multiplayer, but I'm not sure if it's quite gonna make it in. It's also, I don't want it to just be a cheap gimmicky multiplayer. If I'm going to do a multiplayer, I want to do it right. I want to make it actually valuable, because I'm going to be spending probably hundreds of hours if I do decide to do it on it. and I want it to be good if I'm going to spend the time. So I think at the moment it looks like it's just going to be a single player experience, but maybe for a later project I might consider like a local co-op multiplayer or online multiplayer. But for Feline, there is one element of multiplayer I really want to introduce, and that will be a proper leaderboard system. Because I know a lot of people love speeding through it. We have our own community moderated leaderboard just on a Google sheet, just for the prototype. So the fact that that's already happened and the game's not even out kind of communicates to me that the game needs to have a leaderboard. So yeah, so it will have some kind of leaderboard system, but I don't imagine doing anything more than that. Just for the sake of, I don't want to try to do too many things and kind of have the game lose its identity along the way. I kind of just want to focus on delivering one experience really well. Let's see what other questions we got. What was the most time consuming part of 3D character asset creation? God, it was all pretty long because I basically had to relearn character modeling and animation and rigging and texturing for Gabriella's character, and that was kind of one of the reasons it took me about 100 or so hours to get it to where it is at the moment. But the longest bit must have been like, I'd say modeling it maybe, because I was a bit slower back then. It was a lot to learn at once, and I did this really new way of doing it that I'd never done. So I think modeling and then rigging were probably the hardest, I'd say. What else do we got here? How's development the chat just like, sorry, I was like halfway through reading it and then the chat just scrolls because it auto refreshes. Let me go and find that question again. All right, there's a lot here. Okay. Wait a minute. How's the development process going? Really interested in your project. Oh, thanks. It's going all right. I'm kind of trying to take it a little like more in moderation, because usually I just spend all day, every day doing it, and it's kind of like I get really tired. So I'm trying to take weekends off now, and I'm trying to just take more breaks. But I'm trying to still work on it every day. Just this morning, actually, I did some cool progress. I think some of you guys might like it. I finally fixed a few bugs. You can't wall run on those crates anymore, so I hope that makes people happy. And I fixed the bug. Someone found this bug where you could crouch and then wall run while crouching. So that's fixed now. And it felt really satisfying to just fix some small tasks. Because for a while, I've had a lot of really big tasks to complete. And you probably feel this as well if you're developing a project. But when you complete a task, you get a real hit of, like, I don't know if it's dopamine or endorphins, but whatever it is, it's a good hit. And I don't really feel that when I'm working on a large thing like a character, but ticking off small things feels really great. So I'm happy I got a few of those things done today. Let's see what else we got. But yeah, development's going all right. Oh yeah, so you mentioned this question from Benedict Madrezo. I'm sorry in advance if I pronounce people's names wrong. You mentioned that Gabriella was a character you came up with when you were still a kid. Was there a build-up to her creation, or was it something you stumbled upon and went from there? Yeah, weirdly enough, it was sort of a very slow, gradual build-up. If you go to my Instagram, I have that link down below. There are actually still a few, because I've had the same Instagram account since I was 11. So I've deleted a bunch of old stuff from there, but there's still a few drawings up from like 2013 when you kind of see her turning into what she is now. In fact, I actually kind of freaked out. I did find a sketch from, I think, 2012 or 2013 of her in the exact kind of armor that she's in right now, with like the singlet and stripes and like the bulky leg pieces. And I kind of forgot about that sketch, and I guess it just subconsciously came back. But I went scrolling and looked at it, and I was like, oh wow, it's like the same but a bit more refined. So yeah, it was a very slow build up with her creation. A lot of changes over time. It was just something in the background I kept sketching. And then eventually when the time was right, I just thought, well, I'm just going to use her in a game and see what happens. Please, okay, I've got a questions from Goomba in a stack. Please tell me you're able to put little ornaments on the tip of Gabriella's tail. I don't know, I haven't really thought about doing that or tried it, but I suppose I could if I wanted. I've got a lot of questions about the story and enemies. Like, who are the enemies going to be? I don't know. I have no idea yet. I got no clue. Oh, here's one by Ethan Smith. Why Unreal and not Unity? I think that'd just be that should just be its own video in itself. It's really interesting, but to cut a long story short, Unreal just had a better workflow for me. I do programming and art, but I'm definitely more of a designer, and Unreal's blueprint system was just easier for me to work with, I'd say. Unreal's also been around longer. It's got more features, and I've used Unity for about 10 years, but I haven't used it since doing Unreal. It might have had some updates since then, but I've found that it's mostly catching up with stuff Unreal's got already. So I mean, considering it's made by Epic, it's been used in a lot of AAA titles, and Unity was kind of just made as a free open source, well, not open source, but like a free accessible engine. I kind of just thought Unreal would be the best choice. I had a lot of friends at the time that just started doing Unreal and they really loved it. So it was mostly just circumstance and like, wanting to try a new engine and not have to worry about like all this advanced math stuff and programming, especially in a game about movement, because doing custom character movement in Unity was just a bit of a bother. So I guess that's the short reason why I switched, but there's a whole lot of other things too. What else we got here? There's a lot of I'm getting a lot of repeated questions about what's the story, what is it gonna be. Honestly, yeah, I think I said this a little earlier on. I'm just formulating some ideas still. I have a lot of abstract like images and ideas and scenes, but I haven't really put it together in a cohesive plot yet. So I really don't know, to be honest. All I know is that it's about Gabriella and her character and sort of overcoming some obstacle. I don't know what it'll be yet. But I want to tie in her genetics a bit to it and the feline suit to it. But beyond that, I don't know. Like, I honestly don't have much of a solid grasp yet, because even if I do say like a random idea now, it'll probably change in a few weeks. So yeah, I'm not too sure, but there's a lot of reference material to draw off just from random ideas I've written down. What else we got? How often do I work on the project? Every day. Just to answer that one quickly. Will other characters be available and have their own powers? Probably not. Considering the amount of time it's taken to make Gabriella and her character movement, I think I just want to keep it focused on her. Maybe for my next project I'll do multiple characters, but I just want to keep it focused at the moment, just on the one. Yeah, so I guess to follow up with that question, how long will it take you to do the next model? Honestly, I really don't think there'll be a next model at this rate. I'm just really tired of doing character art at the moment. I want to get the animations done and just move on to some more gameplay stuff. But yeah, it'll be a cool creative constraint, because I think I want to put some more characters into the story, but it's like making a game where only one of the characters is modeled. I think that'll be a cool challenge. So that's kind of how I want to stick it with. But yeah, maybe some kind of, I don't know, maybe a sidekick character or a rival or villain character, and that'd probably be the most I do. Just because, yeah, like I've got a lot of ideas for designs, and I would love to use them all, but it just takes a lot of time. And I think the game will be really cool even with a few characters, so... Because, I mean, most people, like myself as a developer, care more about Gabriella's character than anyone else. So I think if I just make that good, it'll be good. So, how are you going to import the shaders you did in Blender to UE4? I'll be covering that in a video coming before the end of this year. I'm going to be doing a video on how I do that. It's basically, I'm going to have to recreate it in Unreal, but it should be really easy. But that'll be a whole video in itself. Do you ever plan on having a model importer? Oh, so to create skins and stuff. Oh, I don't know. Like, skins was a thing I think that came up quite early on because I knew people wanted it. I've made it very easy to create skins with the materials. I think it's at the point... Yeah, actually, now that I remember, after I import all the materials and stuff, it'll be to the point where I can just make skins in engine, so I don't have to touch Blender at all. I mean, if it's just color changes and stuff. So yeah, it should be quite easy. I'll see what other... I'm going to scroll up a bit for some... Oh wait, did we just get a... When can we play the full game? Well, if you go down below, the first link, projectfelinegame.com, you'll find a timeline for the development roadmap, and I have there when I expect it'll be finished by. and I've put a lot of thought into these goals. I'm kind of optimistic that I may be able to do it earlier, but I think it's a safe bet. So it'd be probably in a year or so, or a bit longer, just because there's a lot of polish and stuff that needs to happen still. What else we got? Are there going to be bosses? I don't know yet. I really don't know. Maybe. Oh, we got a super chat. I apologies, I missed one. From Rain. Love the progress so far. Can't wait to see the final game. How hard was it for you to research and learn game development? The game development workflow. I don't know. It kind of just... I didn't really think about how hard it was. I just kind of knew it needed to happen, and I just did it. But yeah, in retrospect, research takes a lot of time. The thing that really sucks is when you kind of half research it, and then you're in the middle of something, and then you find some resource that kind of makes you want to redo everything. So that happens quite frequently, but I think it's good because if you find stuff that you wish you'd done, now I think, because it's like, I gotta get this done because I have a YouTube video to make and updates to put out, and it kind of forces you to let go of perfectionism a bit and to actually get things out. So that's been kind of healthy, even though it's kind of soul draining and just, it's not pleasant always, but I would say I enjoy doing it more than sitting in a lecture hall and learning a bunch of like mathematics units. So yeah, doing hands-on research is definitely what I prefer. I'll just quickly scroll down a bit, see what else we got. Any chance for an animated intro? That would be really cool. Maybe. If I get time to, I definitely want to do one. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Also, guys, yeah, just like... Because I got a lot of messages here and questions. If we could try to keep it to just questions and not just Joe Mamas, that'd be nice. I gotta scroll up a bit. I might have missed a few. Yeah, I honestly didn't expect this many questions. So, let me just find one that would be a fun one to answer. I think I've answered all these. I wish I could tick off these. That'd be great. Am I going to be using cell shading for the environment as well? Probably not. Maybe for dynamic objects, but anime doesn't really use cell shading in its backdrops. It usually has a very beautiful hand-painted illustration. So I've done hand-painted styles before with environments, and it worked pretty well. So I'm probably going to be going for that approach for environments and having dynamic objects and cell shading, because that's actually how anime works out most of the time. If anything moves, they don't bother to shade it all beautifully, they just cell shade it. So that'll probably be what I do, I think. What's my least favorite color and why? Yellow. I don't like the color yellow. Just because, like, I don't know. If I see someone out wearing, like, a yellow sweater, it's just not a good color. I don't know. It just doesn't... It makes me think of McDonald's fries. So it just doesn't seem like a good color to wear. And that's why I don't like yellow. So yeah, I don't know. So if that is your favorite color, I'm very sorry. How did I make my project weigh 128 megabytes? Honestly, I have no clue. It just kind of came out that size. I don't know if there's some weird voodoo magic going on. That's just how big it was. The actual Unreal project is only about a gigabyte or so. There's not really a lot of assets in there yet. It'll probably get bigger though once I start adding things. What else we got? Yeah. Also, yeah. Thanks for yeah. I've been getting some nice comments here, thanking me for my videos. So appreciate you guys watching them. Really means a lot. Here's one. How long did it take for you to learn coding? My God. Well, one day when I think I was about 10 or 11. Well, I played it. I was starting to get into video games, and I just kind of sat down and typed into Google how to make video games, and I started learning Unity. And then I just kind of kept doing that through high school, and then 10 years later, here I am. So, yeah, it's just YouTube mainly, learning how to program. I never did any courses in programming or anything. So I guess, yeah, I just kind of taught myself how to do it, more or less. It definitely took a lot of time. It took a lot of weekends and stuff. But luckily, I really wanted to, so it didn't really, I don't know, it felt good. It felt like a good payoff. Um, I think I've answered most of the ones from earlier. So I'll scroll down to see. Whoa, there's a bunch of new ones now. Okay. Um, how am I doing? Oh, well, very, very all right. Thanks for asking. A little tired, a bit stressed out, but I'm alive, so I'm pretty all right. Um, what's my favorite anime? I don't know. I don't watch that many, to be honest. It's been like on my to-do list. I have a list of stuff that friends have told me to watch, but I just don't have the time. I have watched a lot of good movies though. Your Name is definitely on my list, and Spirited Away. Those are my two favorite films, I think. But as for series, I'd say Death Note's probably my favorite anime series. Um, uh, let's see what else we got. How will the soundtrack turn out, and what do you envision? Great question. Luckily, I don't know if everyone. I don't really. I haven't really talked about it much, but before I did Project Feline, I used to do a bit of music on the side. And if you go down to the down below in the chat, I think I have a few links to my music portfolio. I released about I think 2 albums and 2 or 3 EPs over the past 5 years. It's mostly just a hobby, but I really enjoy it. I listen to a lot of like electronica music. Heavily, I have a like really influenced by like the Sonic soundtrack and Owl City. Those like my favorite musical pieces. So I imagine for Project Feline, I'd want to do something like that. In fact, I have a playlist that I listen to when I develop of just songs that I would want to have in the game if I could just use any song. Because a lot of my ideas kind of come from inspirations and like the visionary that goes into my head when I listen to certain songs. So I'm hoping to kind of emulate those songs in a way, but bring my own twist to them. Um, but if there's specific things I had to point out about music that I really like songs with like, nice rhythms and like complex percussion. I have a real thing for complex percussion. I don't know why, but I love it. Um, so yeah, if any of you guys know about like, because I've done some research lately trying to figure out what kind of samples that like the Sonic team used to compose their soundtrack. So if you guys know anything about drum machines, let me know because I'd be curious. Do I plan to do more Q&As in the future? Definitely. I think I might just stick to doing them live now because, well, yeah, I've been able to answer a lot at the moment, and recording them and editing them takes a lot of time that I really couldn't be bothered doing anymore. So those were fun to do though, but it's just like editing them, putting the clips together. I think it's just easier to do them live. So it might be I don't know, it might be a regular thing, might not, depends. Judging from the amount of questions, I think I might have to because there's just so many. Will Gabriella get a weapon? I don't know. She used to have one actually in an earlier prototype, but it just didn't feel like the right fit. So maybe not in this game, but maybe in the future. What can I do to send suggestions and ideas? Well, you can go down to the link in the description and join the Discord. We have a discussion chat where you can just like talk about the game. So if you want to share stuff there, feel more than welcome to. Do you plan to make all the models anime style? Depends on how many I do. The characters definitely, but I don't think I want to do any more. Just after going through this, it's like I've had enough anime characters for 1 year. But if I do more, yeah, definitely they'll be in that style. What are my favorite musicians? Oh, I have a long list. Owl City's at the top, 100%. But the thing about Owl City is that he actually does a lot of other projects that no one else has heard of, because everyone just knows him for Fireflies from like back in 2009. But he goes under like 5 different names doing like orchestral music, like elevator music, that sort of thing. So I really love his body of work. It really inspires me a lot. After that, it'd have to be like, who else do I listen to? I've been listening a lot to Frederick Robinson lately. That's been really great music. And I've been listening, oh yeah, speaking of Robinsons, Porter Robinson's pretty nice too. I like listening to his stuff. What else? Oh, there's a lot. I got a lot of music. I have a lot. A lot of game soundtracks I like the Sonic soundtracks, mainly from the mid to late 2000s games. Oh god, what else? I don't, there's probably heaps. I should make a list someday. How did you find the patience and motivation to keep working? That's a great one. It's honestly a miracle. I have no idea. I've come close to just wanting to give up a few times, but I think I'm having the opposite problem where it's like I feel almost pressured to keep working on it. And I know that sounds bad, but I do like that because I'm held accountable and it kind of pushes me to keep working on it. Mainly for firstly the reason is that I love working on it. It's really great. It's like the project I've always wanted to work on. And secondly, I was around a lot of people a few years back that told me it was stupid. And because for those who don't know, I'm a high school dropout. Oh, surprise. I never did my high school certificate. I kind of went, just screw that. I'm going to make games. And here I am. So, the other kind of thing that keeps me moving is to just prove them wrong and say, I told you, I can make games. So that's kind of the yin and yang reasoning. On the positive, I love doing it. On like the negative side, I kind of just want to like prove it to people that I wasn't crazy. So those are the two things that keep me going, really. But yeah, it's very rare I come to a point where I just want to stop, and I'm really, really lucky that hasn't happened yet. It's happened a lot in the past where I just couldn't do things. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it doesn't happen too soon where I just give up on everything. What else we got? Oh, cool. We got some Our City listeners in the chat. Hell yeah. Despite his, popular Firefly song, it's one of my favorites, but I kind of like... There's a few others that I prefer. If I had to name an Our City song that no one's heard of, it'd probably be his Color Therapy project. That was really cool. He has a lot of cool tracks on that one. Or his Pop Blue project. That's really cool too. Make a video about dropping out of high school, please. Oh, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Definitely. It's an interesting story. I haven't really told it much because this is more of a devlog channel. I kind of didn't, I don't know. It's weird because now that I've sort of grown a bit, I've been on YouTube a little, done some videos. It seems at a point where I kind of want to share a bit more about who I am rather than just what the project is. But yeah, it was probably the best and hardest choice I ever made. But I'm glad I did it. I'm really glad I did. What kind of world design? I've been getting this question a lot. I don't know. It'll be sci-fi. Something sci-fi. It'll be cool. I don't know what it'll be exactly yet. Have I heard Sonic Mania's soundtrack? Actually, not really. I haven't played Sonic Mania. I'm more of a fan of... I'm sort of a Sonic Adventure fanboy. So I'm not sure where that puts me. I don't know if that makes me, like, a bad Sonic fan or a good Sonic fan. I really don't like the classic games. I like the 3D ones because that's what I grew up with. Despite them being really broken and weird, that's what I prefer. What else we got? Do you have experience in character design in the past to achieve Gabriella? Well, I suppose you could call this experience. Ever since I was playing Sonic from how old was I when I first got my first Sonic game? Oh yeah, my first game was Sonic 06, by the way. So it was the really buggy one, but I loved it. It was great. And that kind of got me to... I drew a lot of pictures of Sonic back then. I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I had a habit of just drawing the same thing over and over and over again until I got it right. So after drawing Sonic for a lot, I would just come up with my own versions of characters. So yeah, I was one of those guys that did the Sonic OCs, but they looked good, trust me. I was on the good end of that. And I kind of just I just kept drawing and drawing. I got into Ratchet and Clank, did some drawings of them, designed my own Ratchet and Clank characters. So from when I was 9 years old to now, I've just always been doing it. Like in high school, before I dropped out, I actually would try and bargain with my teachers so that I would go sit in the back of the class because their big concern was that I'm going to distract people. So I said, okay, you can go put me in a special corner at the back. I'll just do my own thing. You can teach your lesson. I'm going to be dropping out at the end of the year. I'm just going to do my sketches and you can teach your lesson. And it worked for the most part. So I got a lot of time to draw during that, which was really great. So yeah, I guess I got experience drawing by just doing it all the time. We got a super chat here. I've tried a lot of modeling in Blender and it never turns out good. How much patience have you had? There's no question mark at the end, so I'm going to assume you're asking how much patience I've got. I don't really know how to gauge that, but I guess you could say a bit. It was honestly not easy. It was like, I guess the issue is because I spend a lot of time on those things and it's very slow. And I guess the good thing is that it's slow and steady, but it also means it takes a while for me to actually finish things. So I guess I just do it slowly enough that it doesn't feel overwhelming, I guess. Um, what else we got? Um, I'm working. Okay, we got a Gamer Z Cool says, I'm working on my project for a fighting game, but I really want to connect with developers. But how? Great question. I have a Discord link below with a lot of other developers. And you can just chat with people there. We have chat specifically for game design, programming, 3D art, everything you need. So if you want to chat with people, I think we just passed 1,600 members. So thanks all for joining. And there's like, yeah, you can talk with all those guys and they'll give you a hand. Um, what else we got? I got a lot of new questions coming in. Do I have ideas for merch? Oh, I do, as a matter of fact. I think I brought this up in a previous video recently where I want to do some merchandise because a lot of people want merch. With merch, it's really cool because I do have a bit of graphic design experience. I've done album covers that have appeared on TV. I've done like iTunes stuff. I've done graphic designs for my own things. Like all my channel branding, I all did myself. I didn't pay anyone. I just, because I love doing design. It's really great. All my YouTube thumbnails I design. So when it comes to merch and shirts and that sort of thing, because I love shirts with cool designs on them. Like if you guys go check out Destiny 2, they have some really good designs. So I want to make something I'd want to wear out in public. The only thing though is that people don't usually wear characters on t-shirts. They usually wear logos. And cool logos look really cool. And I need to design a logo still. But that'll be coming soon. What else we got? Oh, cool. We got some college dropouts in the chat. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the best and hardest choice I ever made. What else we got? A lot of questions. There was one that I remember seeing that I wanted to answer. If I can find it. Do I like drum and bass? I guess. I don't listen to it very much, but when I was like a teenager, definitely. What else we got? I think I've answered all these ones. I've got a lot of college dropout gang. Hell yeah. Oh, cool. People actually want Gabriella t-shirts. That's awesome. Oh, someone's actually drawing Sonic right now. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Go share it in our Discord chat. Go to link in the description. Join our Discord. Share it in 2D art. I'd love to see it. How should I advertise my game without being super advertising? I don't know. That's a good one. That's something I think about a lot. And I think one thing to do is to just make it try to make it valuable enough that people won't get annoyed by it, I guess. Like I'm always self-conscious about this kind of thing, but if I make something that I think I really believe is something worth sharing, like a piece of concept art or well, I don't know. I haven't made a trailer or anything yet, but if I've got something I can provide that I think other people might benefit from, for example, my rigging video, I like to share that around if possible. And usually when I share it, I just say, look, I've done a video about this. If anyone else is doing this, you might find it helpful. And I share it in as many places as possible. It really depends on what it is you're sharing. If it's a trailer, I don't imagine it'd be as welcome. But if you've got like devlogs and stuff, I think people tend to be a bit more generous. But yeah, if you make it sound like you're just talking and sharing it to a friend, I think that kind of makes it feel less advertising, to put it. What do I like the most? Concept art or designing or modeling? God, I like them all. They're all great. They're freaking awesome. The thing I'd hate the most would, I guess, I don't know. I can't even. There's only things I do more and things I do less. The things I do more of is definitely characters and design and branding and stuff. But the things I do less of is like level design and music. So I don't know. There's nothing I really hate. Except UV mapping sucks. I hate it. That's about the only thing. Are there already other characters that I'm designing? There are a few in the workshop, but I can't really talk about that too much yet because I don't know if they're going to be used or not. But if I've got something to report, I will share it. Where am I from? I'm from Australia. I know people seem to think I'm Canadian for some reason or American, but no, I'm right here in Australia, as the boys say. Um, so yeah, that's where I'm from. Land where all the spiders and stuff come from. Will I be putting my game on the Switch? Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. I'd like to try. If I'm able to, definitely. If I don't meet the eligibility requirements or funding requirements, then we may not make it. But it's something I want to try out. Um, awesome. Yeah. Well, I personally don't own a Switch. My brother does though. They seem like really cool consoles. I actually would want to buy a Switch just to play my game on the train because it'd be the kind of game I'd want. I'm not really much of a mobile gamer, but that would be one thing I'd probably do as well. So, am I dying from the heat? Today's actually quite cool. It's about 22 Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit because America has weird measurement systems, but it's pretty cool. I'm doing pretty all right. Although there's a lot of bushfires, but I've seen the smoke from it. It's a bit scary, but I think I'll be okay. Can we see the teddy bears? Oh my god, people are still talking. I think I mentioned this once, like 20 minutes ago. Well, I've got my webcam. I can't move it, but I'll post a photo of them sometime on my Instagram or my Twitter. So if you want to see a photo of the teddy bears after the stream, go follow me in my social medias, and I'll post a picture. What other questions we got? So hopefully that clears up the teddy bear stuff. I don't know why people want that. When freelancing 3D characters, do you think there are options for indie budgets? I really don't know. I've done freelance, but not for 3D characters, so I'm not sure if I have a good answer to that. Will there be voice acting? I've had some people reach out wanting to do it. I've had some auditions. Not sure what'll happen, but people have been interested. Don't know what it'll end up as yet, but it'd be cool if I could have that in. That'd be awesome. I think I don't know. Is that all the questions? How long have we been? I have no idea how long we've been going for now. We got about 5 minutes left. I'll answer some last minute questions. We have a few because I have the Discord chat open because there's been a lot of questions from months ago that I haven't got around to answering. So if you guys have any last minute things you want to ask me, ask them now, or I'll just check the Discord and answer some old ones there. And then, do I watch Ruby? I watched season 1 because my friend really liked it. I thought it was okay. Yeah, and it was a long time ago. But no, I don't concurrently watch it. Will you be willing to take ideas of making story and designing? Hold on, let me read that again. Will you be willing to take ideas for making a story and designing an overall story arc for the game, or would you prefer to make it on your own? Well, I'm always open to feedback and suggestions. Always open to it. Just as long as people know that just because someone suggests something doesn't mean I'll use it. I think most people know that though, but just thought I'd clarify. But yeah, any feedback is always welcome. How am I living? Well, great question. I'm barely, but yeah, as I said, I used to work as a teacher. I just tried saving as much money as I can. I'm also very fortunate because I'm like still pretty young, and Australia has a really weird housing thing. So I'm still living with my parents. They've been very supportive of what I've been doing. But yeah, housing situation's a bit weird in Australia because everything is just really expensive. So my goal, I guess, in the long term, is to try and save up enough to move out someday. But yeah, that's sort of how I've been getting by. I've getting a bit of income in from YouTube monetization and the prototype actually. Surprisingly, people actually pay for it, which I didn't think they would, but they do. So thank you to everyone who's bought the prototype. I really do appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. I also get funding from Patreon. So I've got that link down below, and huge thank you to the people that do back it. I know I'm not really in a position where I can give out extravagant rewards because I'm just really busy, but I do just have a $1 tier. I really do appreciate the people who pledge that. It really means a lot. Do I do freelance work? I used to, but my God, I don't think I could go back to that. Working for clients isn't fun. No one knows what they want. So it wasn't a great experience. When's the next demo? Oh boy, this is one I think everyone wants to know. Um, well, the next demo will be. I'm trying to get it out by. Well, what is it now? It's the 17th of November. Um, I'm gonna see what if I can get it out by the end of this month, but if not, it's probably gonna be December. In the description down below, I have a link to the website. It has a dev roadmap with all my goals and milestones. And the next thing I put out, update-wise for the game, it's going to be version 0.8. That's going to be the final free prototype that I put out. Because after this point, it's basically it's going to enter alpha stage. And by the end of alpha stage, it's basically going to be the finished product minus a few bugs and stuff. And that's not something that I kind of think should be a free download, if you know what I mean. So it's probably going to... I don't know what will happen exactly. I'm figuring things out, but I'm imagining it's going to be some kind of early access thing I do with the alpha versions. I'm still going to be making devlogs on it, so you guys can see what happens with the game. But in order to be able to test the alpha builds, it'll probably be some early access plan. But the prototype, 0.8, will always be free if you guys just want to like try it out. But yeah, to kind of go with the other questions about how am I living and how can I afford to live, well, I won't be able to if I keep the game free. So that's kind of why I'm sort of making the prototype its thing, having that free, and then moving to the paid early access or something. So yeah, if you are interested and you want to support the game, getting like, I don't know what I'm going to do early access wise, but having people support and fund that I'd appreciate that a lot. It'll help me out a great deal. It basically means I can keep working on the game and I don't have to go work at Coles. So I'd appreciate that a lot. Will I be continuing the devlogs? Absolutely. I want to do them as long as I can. I actually do. Actually, I'm going to switch things up. I have a question for you guys now. Because, yeah, devlogs are really hard. It takes me about a few weeks to do each devlog, sometimes a few months. And after the character's finished, because I kind of have a locked-in schedule for the next two videos, but after that, I want to try some new things. Now, I don't know, because I'm thinking about doing something where I try to do them more frequently, but show off a bit less in the videos. So it's kind of more like a vlog rather than I don't know, an explanation. So I'm not sure what you guys think of that. I honestly don't know what to do either. I'm not a very seasoned YouTuber. But I'm wondering if that might be a cool thing. So I'm, maybe a weekly thing or a bi-weekly thing. I said it was going to be bi-weekly, but it rarely is. But actually doing it bi-weekly and having, just incremental progress rather than massive updates. So I don't know, whatever you guys think, I'm open to suggestions. It seems one guy says the answer is yes, so I might try that out. That'd be cool. What else we got? I'm going to try to quickly answer some because my time has gone off now, which means it's been about an hour. What software besides Blender do I use? I use Unreal Engine and Photoshop and Premiere and After Effects. Premiere and After Effects for my devlogs. Photoshop and Blender and Unreal for the game. Mac port. Honestly don't know. It's kind of hard. In order to compile on Mac, you need to own one. I do own one, but it's got like no space on it, and I need to reformat it, so it's going to be a bit of a hassle. But maybe for when it goes into early access alpha, I might put out a Mac build. But yeah, at the moment though, it is available on Windows and Linux. So if that allows you some accessibility, I'd recommend giving those a go. Someone's trying to tell me to take a vacation here. Ha. Joke's on you, I don't have time. Well, I probably should actually. I actually did a few weekends ago. I did take a little short weekend trip with my girlfriend. That was really nice. We just kind of went out to some far off place in the Central Coast somewhere. There wasn't really much to do. It was just kind of nice to get a change of scenery. But yeah, that was kind of nice, but then I kind of had to quickly get back into things. So maybe I should take maybe a week off at some point. But I want to do that after the prototypes, like the final version of that's out. I'd feel a bit more comfortable because it's got to get finished. So maybe after that. God, there's so many. We're getting all these good questions at the end now. I feel so bad. I'm going to try and answer these as quick as possible. How did I get my first 100 subs? Honestly, don't know. I think I just started uploading stuff and people found it. It was, yeah, I guess just make stuff consistently and see what happens. Um, do I need any extra modeling help? No, that's all right. I'll be all right. Um, I'll be totally fine. If the game, let me just read this one. If the game ready to, sorry, it's hard to read because the chat's just scrolling. I think this guy's asking about alpha or beta testing and where to get it. I don't know yet. I'm still planning it, but I'd imagine some ideas on the shelf. And like, look, it's not final. This is just some ideas, but I'm currently researching Steam Early Access and some kind of thing on itch to see if I can do it that way or through some like funding website. So I'm not sure yet. I haven't made a decision, but I'm researching it. What else we got? Last question. How good is your PC rig for this project? I actually should probably upgrade it soon. It's been making a lot of loud noises. But I'm running some decent specs. I should probably just do a video on that, like a PC build specs and stuff. I've got like a GTX 980 graphics card, because that's, I don't know, that's like the most important thing, I think. So actually, yeah, I should probably say, one of the last things I want to address here is voice acting. People have been asking about that a lot, like 5-6 times in the past 20 minutes. Here's the thing. Because I don't know what'll happen. I don't know if we'll have voice acting or not. I don't know, like, it's too early to say. But if you do want to apply or, like, audition, I guess I'd be open to take those. If you want to do that, if you check my YouTube channel in the About, you'll find an address that you can contact me at. If you are going to email that, though, please don't just hit me up saying, like, oh, can I join your project? Try and really sell yourself. This is another thing I want to just do a video on someday, because I get asked this a lot, like, can I work on your game? The thing is, though, is that asking that isn't, like, it's not telling me about what you can do. So if just some quick advice, I'd say, if you want to apply to do anything, and look, I don't know, I can't take volunteers, that's a no, but one day I might be able to, I don't know, hire people, maybe, I don't know. But if it does happen, and if you want to apply so that I look at you, if that does happen, you can send an email at my address on my YouTube channel. But yeah, really try and sell yourself. Like, include a portfolio. If you don't have one, I'm not going to read it because it doesn't tell me anything about what you're capable of. If you straight up say, like, oh, I'm a beginner, can I join? It doesn't really sound like you're that confident in what you do. So, I mean, I know this sounds a bit harsh, but because I've just been getting this a lot lately, and I just want to go out and, like, try and motivate people to just pitch themselves better. Kind of really tell me what you're good at. Really make yourself shine. Don't tell me that you're an amateur and that you don't know what you're doing and that, trying to throw a pity parade, I guess. Don't go all, oh, I'm just new starting this, but I really want to work on it. It's like, no, tell me what you're good at. Show me your work. Tell me how you're going to be valuable. And that goes not just for me, but if you ask to volunteer or apply for any job or project, I'd recommend doing that. If you can really sell yourself, tell people what you're good at, you will probably be more likely to get that job. So I really got to do a video on that in itself, because I get asked that a lot. But yeah, if you want to apply, really sell yourself. Make yourself sound cool, because then maybe I'll think so too. Because if you make yourself sound bad, why would I bother? So that's just something I think to keep in mind. Oh, hey, I recognize this guy. Danny's in the chat. Get a cat to do the voice acting. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I could do that. That'd be fun. That actually would say I don't have to write dialogue. That'd be awesome. Hell yeah. But yeah, so do I plan to release on the Epic Game Store? I don't know, maybe. I guess I really should wrap up soon, but I do get asked that a lot. Hey, are you going to take an Epic exclusive deal? Please don't take an Epic exclusive deal, all that stuff. I don't know what'll happen, but I've done research. Some studios do get offered to make exclusive content, and now I'm going to get a lot of angry stuff in the chat. But do you understand? Because as I've answered before, yeah, I'm like barely getting by. In a couple months, I'll probably have to stop and, stack shelves somewhere. So if I get presented an opportunity where I can afford to keep working on it, and if it means making it exclusive for a limited time, because it's not forever, at least from what I've seen, then I'd probably take it up. And I know that's not what everyone wants, but I think if you guys like my games and support them, I think you'll understand. So Again, I'm probably thinking way too ahead. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's something. That's a thought that's come to my mind. Anyway, yeah, I think I should probably wrap up. I think I'll answer just one more question, just one more, and then I'll probably have to head off. There's a lot. There's some personal questions and some professional questions. I'm not sure which I should answer. Let's see. What's one that I'm probably not going to answer in a devlog? Yeah, I noticed we got a bit of discussion here about the Epic Store. But, it's not that bad. I mean, it's not going to take advantage of anything exclusive to Steam. Like, I don't know about Steam Workshop and stuff. That'll take a bit of effort to do. But if it's just going to have single player and a leaderboard, I don't really see the issue. I personally, I don't really have that many games on the Epic. I have Fortnite, and that's it. That's all I've got installed. But, from a developer's perspective, they make it really enticing. So, we'll see. Again, I'm thinking way too ahead. I don't know what'll happen. We'll see. I guess, yeah, one last question here with an @Raymond Cripps. How old are you? Great question. Usually something I don't get into much, but I'm 21. So, yeah, take that for what you will. Most people seem to think I'm 25. I don't know why, but yeah, I guess that answers that. And will I have a Stan Lee cameo? I don't know. I don't want to get in legal trouble, so maybe not. But yeah, so I guess that'll wrap it up for the questions. I know if you've got more, I know everyone's always got questions. I honestly did not expect this amount. So if you guys have more questions, go down to the Discord chat. I have a Q&A submissions page. To get access to it, because it is locked by default, just because I don't want people asking, how do I do this in Unity sort of thing. But if you do have a genuine question for me, you can read through the Q&A rules, accept them, and then you can submit questions there. So that's linked down below in the Discord channel. You can ask me stuff there. I probably do need to answer some questions there because it's been stockpiling for a while now. But yeah, so that'll just about do it, I think. I guess last minute things, because the big things I was getting asked, yeah, not doing volunteering, but if you want to really help with the game, can't guarantee, but if you do want to, if you have something you want to bring, please pitch yourself properly, show me your portfolio, and you might have a chance if I decide to do that. And yeah, that's probably one thing I really want to stress, because that's been a common thing. So yeah, I guess that'll do it. Thanks so much all for joining, guys. I really appreciate it. I have no idea how long we've been going for, but I had fun. It's really cool to get to answer some of these. You guys have some really interesting questions. Hopefully a lot of these, if you have one that didn't get answered, hopefully it kind of unfolds over the course of the Devlog series. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there in those videos. And if you want me to do more live Q&As, let me know in the chat or in the comments after the live stream's over, because these were pretty fun. Saves me having to edit them. So yeah, if you guys liked it, let me know. Make sure to smash like and subscribe, as the YouTubers say. And if you hit the bell, you'll get notified when I put out a video. And because I'm not a daily content guy, you won't get spammed. Don't worry. I only put them out every so often. So if that's something you want to be there to comment first on my video, hit the bell and you'll be able to do that. So yeah, good night everybody, or good day, depending on where you are. It's 4 p.m. here. Awesome. So yeah, thanks so much for joining. Now I have to figure out how to stop the live stream, because YouTube's changed their user interface. So yeah, awesome. Just reading all the goodbye messages now. Smash like. Thanks so much for joining, guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.